Let me introduce about myself. My name is Andi Mariam. My ID number 20400121079. I'm from class PBIC. This video is to fulfill an assignment for the Psycholinguistic for Language Teacher course from my lecturer, Mr. Kaharudi. Language from a linguistic point of view is one of the words used by humans to communicate and convey their opinion, knowledge, and experiences. There must be 5 components of knowledge, namely sound or phonetics and phonology, word or morphology, sentence structure or syntax, meaning or semantic, and culture or pragmatic. And about language from a discourse analysis is point of view. It means of communicate that has 2 components, namely form and function. According to MacArthur, that each language has its own meaning. He said that function is important and that approach is just a theory. There are five prevailing language theory, namely traditional grammar approach, structure approach, function approach, communicative approach, and interactive approach. And about language from a psycholinguistic point of view is a very interesting object to observe because almost everyone in this world knows and can use the language. They know to communicate, but only a few of them understand what they know. In the sense, the most human have the ability to use language, but they do not know how the ability occurs. In other words, it can be said that most humans know the language to be used for daily interaction, but they are not fully aware of that knowledge. By Carroll, 2018. Related to this, according to Carroll, humans can basically communicate using language due to the existence of 2 types of knowledge, namely tacit knowledge and explicit knowledge. Tacit knowledge refers to the knowledge possessed by humans to perform various kinds of action as a form of language use, for example, reading, speaking, listening, and writing. All of this action can be performed by anyone who has acquired the 5 components of language. Meanwhile, explicit knowledge refers to knowledge about the process or knowledge about the mechanism of how all acts of language use are performed. For example, when we speak, most of us only know how to speak, but few of us know the process that happen in our mind when we speak. In conclusion, the linguistic differences are broad in scope and including 5 components, namely phonetics, phonology, morphology, syntax, semantic, and pragmatic. While discourse only has 2 components, that there are form and function. And about psycholinguistic, it has 3 components, namely form, function, and also mind. While the similarities between language from a linguistic point of view, discourse, and psycholinguistic point of view, discourse and psycholinguists are both as a means or tool to communicate. To be able to produce speech, there is a process that occurs in our mind when we want to speak. In linguistics, it's called a mental process that occurs without us realizing it. According to Whiting in 2003, the process that occurs in our mind when speaking has 3 stages, namely conceptualization stage, a stage to determine the intention to be conveyed, formulation stage to determine what to use and how to express the intention in the conceptualization stage, and the articulation stage, the stage to convey the intention in the form of speech and expression. And when we speak and produce language product, our mind cannot produce alone without knowledge. According to Chomsky, there are three knowledge that we must have when we want to produce language product, and you go through the three previous steps, which Chomsky calls linguistic competence, where each knowledge will function at each stage, namely semantical knowledge, syntactical knowledge, and also phonological knowledge. Yes, I do, because conceptualization can only happen if we have some semantic knowledge, which means our knowledge of a particular object or thing. And when we speak, we must start a process in our mind of abstract idea. They are created, and the underlying meaning or abstract idea is a representation of human semantic knowledge, which is knowledge that triggers the initial production of speech that does not contain linguistic property. According Carr, in 2021 defines it as a concept formulated in the head of a speaker. An example of its implication in teaching is to make sure that the students who are taught have knowledge about the topic they will explain with the topic they are learn and experience themselves, so that when they talk about the topic there will be knowledge to convey. And the function of semantic knowledge for conceptualization is like a broad word by choosing the right word to string into a certain sentence and then produce the named meaning speech so that people understand what we are talking about and interact directly with the people abroad. Variants argues that semantic knowledge used in the conceptualization step can be categorized into two types of knowledge, namely macrosemantic planning and microsemantic planning. Macrosemantic planning refers to the action of a speaker to determine what types of speech can be used to express concept or abstract idea in our mind effectively. Meanwhile, semantic microplanning is the action taken by a speaker in determining and using the type of speech used to communicate the message in our mind, and which fact will be the main focus that will be highlighted in order to be conveyed to the other party. For example, when we want to choose a word to describe the word learn, can also study, right? Then we must choose a word that is in accordance with the context of the sentence or tenses, grammatical that we will convey when we speaking, so that the listener does not misinterpret when the word is used. According to Chow, 2023 provides an explanation of the brain area that play an important role in speech and language, such as the Wernicke area is the brain area involved in language processing from conceptualization to formulation. So, the part of brain that has a conceptualization function is the Wernicke area. According to Gompers, aside to now that the contextualization process is taking place is the pattern of pause or temporary stop in speaking that a person product when talking to other people. For example, when someone wants to talk, there is a process where the concept or abstract idea is formed in our minds, more precisely in the Wernicke area, so that when we stop for a moment in talking, there is pause. The pause here is meant for thinking, not articulation, such as the words and like Pause is a conceptualization process that occurs When we think the produced language product, the pause used in the conceptualization process is also called psychological pause. According to Weir in 2013, that this pause has a minimum duration of 200 milliseconds or the equivalent of 2 seconds. While the field pause, or it can also be called a change in rhythm, which has a function similar to a pause when someone speaks by slowing down the speed of speech without producing silence at all. So, as to provide an opportunity for someone to conceptualize, this pause is also not intended for thinking. For example, field pause such as word lo, some studies mention that at least 3 reasons why someone does a field pause, among others, to get time to search and find the right word, to indicate the speaker has not finished speaking, and the last, to delay the speaking time, by Clark and 3, 2002.
Audio Jungle.